appreciate that you're doing this because
There's so
yeah,
much
it's a
here.
lot to do.
Yes.
Very appreciated.
Oh, good. And I'm sure all the people who listen to this are appreciative too. So welcome, Diane. We are live on Facebook talking about your position running for city council as mayor. And we have a lot of issues coming up. We've got we have two county ballots issues and two state issues. We thought we would talk about those today.
Yeah.
And from there, why don't we start off with the county one, the sales tax increase that they would like, that is 1B on mental health.
Yeah. Forgive me, I'm just a process person, so I'm just going to talk about 1A first, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
1A
opens,
is
what's that one?
yeah, that tax already exists. It's 0.15%. The county sales tax is 0.85% combined. And so the 0.15 of that is for open space. What do they say? Acquiring, improving, managing, and maintaining open space lands. And they're asking that we vote to continue it in perpetuity. Otherwise, it would sunset, and I think it's a little
I,
while before it sunsets. So I don't think we have to. I don't think we're under the gun on that one yet. But the
they
reason
have,
why, oh, go ahead, Jenny. Go
let
ahead.
me ask you, they have all these percentages. Give
Mhm.
us an idea of dollar amount for people.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it says in here. That's what I'm looking to see about how much it actually.
It's always a little bit here, a little bit there,
Mhm.
and yet it keeps adding up. And it sounds like nothing until you look at what you're paying.
I think it's $600 million, and I base that on the discussions we had around 1B. And is that the number that you heard during the 1B presentation? I know we both
I
had
I
heard that.
have not I have not heard. No.
Yeah, and I think that's what
I
they
don't
were
have a dollar.
anticipating. The 1B would bring, and which is an additional 0.15%. And
Okay.
so, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but that's the number I remember in that presentation. So I'm guessing that's the same amount that they're expecting for open space, or that they're receiving, and that's how they're basing those numbers.
Which
Um,
is how much again?
I think it's $600 million
Okay.
for the county.
And kind of break that down. What do you pay? What do I pay? What does
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
pay?
exactly. It all depends on how much you spend, because these are sales tax dollars.
So is
So
it on everything?
yes, although the county does not charge sales tax on groceries,
Okay.
whereas Longmont does, and that's in contention this year. Um, at Longmont, the city of Longmont doesn't have any initiatives on the ballot. We just have four open council seats that we're looking for voters to choose new
Right.
candidates for city
Right.
council. Yeah, so
Okay. So
well, you don't have a booklet from us yet.
let's
Yeah.
dig into this a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Open space. What how much land do they have? And what I want people to think about when we're talking about this is when we give money to the government to buy open space, that means houses are not going on that property. So we have to keep maintenance on it. I don't know what else. Maybe you can help viewers with that. And so that doesn't bring in dollars to the government.
Hmm. You're bringing up all the touchy topics today, Jenny. I'm just going to launch in here. Um, the thing with Boulder Open Space is they have a lot of it,
Yes.
tons of acres. But two of the properties that Boulder County owns, um, one of them is the Kanemoto Conservation property, and the other one is the Sugar Mill property. And those are very much in contention right now because they'd like to see those developed
Oh,
So isn't that interesting that
yes.
that was the the Kanemoto, well, just that's what it's called, Kanemoto Conservation Easement, but it doesn't belong to the family anymore. It belongs to the county, and it was exchanged for $10. So that isn't like a big investment for open space taxes. However, it is still a conservation easement. And
Mm.
they're talking to the city of Longmont to annex that. And I don't know how the voters would feel about that because it was, that $10 did come out of open space. It's meant to be a conservation property for perpetuity and stay agricultural. And so Longmont is dealing right now with food security, and so we'd like to keep more agricultural land. And so how do we manage that? And then, we kind of see the point of we have this conservation property that's more in the city proper. In other words, there's some land around it that has been developed. Um, but it still is pretty far flung, it's down near the diagonal and on your way to Boulder. But so maybe more importantly, we just need to transfer that conservation easement, not annex it for development is the idea. So I'm not sure how that will all go. But when we get down to the sugar mill, that area is about 100 acres,
Oh,
and
is
it's
it?
got some historic value to it, and we want to keep the historic value as well. But then there's conversation about putting housing there. I do not favor putting housing there. I think it needs to be, if we do improve it, it needs to be for the public good.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a coliseum or you know, what would be another name for it, a stadium or arena or performing um, center there. It's 100 acres, so it's something that we could really make it a showpiece for Longmont. Because right as you come in, there's that beautiful piece of artwork that just is a gateway piece and shows those silos, which would probably be maintained. And then, people can come off the highway and come visit Longmont and see some shows or speakers.
Well,
Somebody even
it,
mentioned maybe having a semi-professional team or some kind of sports team there. It would also, and I'm just thinking high school.
is there anything that could help to involve Sundance Film Festival? And,
Exactly.
you
Exactly,
know,
for the next 10 years, which is really about 12 because it's going to start in 2027, I guess 11 and a half. Um, yeah, it'd be a place for viewing of that, and I think when we're talking about like a coliseum, we're talking about a bigger stadium, but then also if there's a performing arts, and if you think about Buell Theater with the Opera House right next door, that kind of.
that's an awfully big chunk of money to make something like that happen. And I don't see Longmont as a wealthy community, no offense.
Hmm. Well,
And
it's a big
it's
chunk of
lots of
money
cleanup.
either way we look at it. And I'm sorry, I think my feed is a little behind yours, so I'm sorry if I talk over you.
Oh,
I'll pause before I start talking. How's that? But
I'll go like this.
the thing is, we're looking at an urban renewal development plan there, which means we would dedicate sales tax to that project. And so one way or another, we would have to come up with an urban renewal plan. And when you think of, for instance, Centerra and what have you, they have a PIF there also, which is a project increment financing. So a portion of all their sales tax, and I think that added on to their sales tax there, but a portion of it goes to all the improvements that need to happen there. So there's ways to go about that. And then, yeah, we just haven't gotten there yet. We still have to figure out what the cleanup would be.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, out of the county properties, we're pretty much surrounded by Boulder County land. And one of the reasons with the distal Tull properties that are Longmont open space is it's a buffer between us and the county land. And that's
yeah.
one of the reasons to keep that open space or um, keep it for Longmont use and have that buffer is what we're looking for. And that originally why it was purchased in that area. So,
That that's nice to have.
yeah,
Well,
so
we don't have a ton of time to talk.
right, let's.
So that pretty much gives a good gist of the open space. One last thing about the sugar mill is there's lots of cleanup expense that has to go into that, which also probably is a lot of time. And so that's big consideration. Then let's jump to the mental health bill, because I think that's pretty huge in people's minds.
It
Don't
would
you?
be, yeah, it would be an additional 0.15%, which would raise the county tax to a full percentage point, so it'd be 1.0. And the city council, so a lot of times we speak as independent council people or just independent citizens. But in this case, it's already come before city council, and the city council did not take a stand on it. We didn't either endorse or not endorse it. We were just very neutral. One of the uh, points of view that we had is that Longmont already does a lot for mental health in within our city, and that has been through our government programs, through our public safety fund and our general fund. We have Rewind and the Lead and Core program, which are intervention type programs. And that was one of the first things that Boulder County with this tax wanted to implement in the county. So it felt to us like it wasn't something that's useful for Longmont, because we already are using our own tax dollars for that. And
Oh,
that the some of the text in here says that, as they will not be supporting governments in their efforts. So they're really looking as a county to expand mental health intervention and treatment through areas that don't already have it. So don't know if it was particularly useful for Longmont as a city,
mm,
um, but people need to make up their own minds about it. But that's how I came up with the 600 million. Is I remember from that presentation that that's the amount they gave us, is what they're anticipating, I believe.
oh, okay,
If the commissioners have said something different, or I just have the information wrong, please check with them first. They're doing,
okay,
you know,
okay.
in public engagement, so their information would be more contemporary than mine. But I don't know. We're on the fence with it, as is typical. Longmont tends to be proactive in many arenas, and we feel like we're a little ahead of the game here, and Boulder County's catching up, which is admirable and useful and
Mhm.
needs to happen as well. And it can really benefit some of the municipalities that don't have the resources of their own. But
So,
but I don't think it's useful or helpful to Longmont. And that
okay,
seemed to
and
be the general consensus on the council. So
got it. And I think that that might be one thing that Longmont people don't realize, because I know that I did hear one of the gals all excited thinking that Longmont was going to benefit. And the way the gal Claire was talking about it, it sounded as though she was the one, she and her group administration would choose who got what amount of dollars, was the way it came across to me. Am I correct? Or do they fill out a form to say salute or whatever mental health institute it is wants money? Here's what we want. Here's why we want it. Here's how we'll use it. Is that how it goes? And then they vote on it?
yeah, and I think that's the other thing is it's a 3-year program because they don't really have it ironed out yet. So they
Yeah.
want to have a board, and that board will have, I suppose, some kind of rubric or decision making grading system as to who gets those dollars first.
Okay.
And um, they're thinking there's going to be one administrative person, one full-time employee that'll get paid out of the program, but they haven't expressed what amount that would be. And so it's kind of still an infant. They don't have it all um, figured out yet, and they're asking for 3 years to implement it, collect the tax, and then figure out in a second ballot measure to extend it, what the plan will be going forward. And
Oh,
so that also feels like maybe we need a little more clarity before we,
mhm.
we had legislative sessions that discussed this, and we had a council session. We chose not to take a vote. So I would say that's a truly neutral position.
Okay.
When I say one way or another, we're just interested in information.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's what the discussion was during the council meeting and in discussions with what does the text actually say. So yeah, so it's I think with this you will be voting with your um it's an opinion vote to say, are we ready for this in the county yet? Yes, we're ready for it and we like what you're doing. Or, if you feel like it needs a little more fleshing out before we commit dollars to it, then that your vote might reflect that as well for the
Yeah.
commission. And so,
Yeah. Sort of like Pelosi saying pass this and then we'll
and then,
find
then
out
we'll tell
what
you what it
people.
says. Yeah. They have a framework, but it isn't very, it's not something you can count on.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
next 3 years, they're going to be working on it. So they may, give it 3 years to work on it and
Right.
come up with
Right.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime,
Yeah. In the meantime, we want to know what we're committing dollars to and where they're going.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have to slow down. There are so many things coming down the pipeline that I keep hearing about, and you know, everybody's hand is out, and
Right.
you want to be smart about how the money's spent. So shall we move on to the county ballots? Or I mean
Oh, the state.
the
Yeah.
state, yes. We've
Yeah.
got about 4 minutes left and
Oh
I'll
God.
just
How does it
divvy
go so fast, Jenny? There's
I
so much complexity, I think. Well, there's LL, which is which actually did quite well, and they're asking to retain and spend the revenue that exceeded their expectations. So that's a Tabor limit. They actually are supposed to return the Tabor funds. And so they're asking us to deny Tabor with LL.
so are you saying we vote yes or no on that if we disagree with them keeping the Tabor fund?
Yeah, if you want your Tabor back, vote no. And if
Okay,
you say, yeah, go ahead and keep it, vote yes.
yeah.
So,
They
um,
they have a way I've noticed of saying, "Oh, it's only $25 per person." Well, when you start to add that up, I've seen it expressed that way, that
mhm.
they're trying to tell you it's very little, but all that money combined for them is a lot for them to spend, but they keep throwing these additional things in where they want to more and more keep the Tabor money. And that was a huge dispute years ago here in Colorado.
Yeah. And just I'm reading it's 12.4 million, which isn't
Oh,
a
is it?
small amount. Yeah,
Yeah.
that needs to be refunded. So,
Yeah.
um, you got to think about a lot of these businesses are struggling right now,
Yes.
business, and it would help them quite a bit. And if that could help keep retail spaces filled and keep employees working, it's important. And the more businesses we have open, the more sales tax it generates. So we don't want to shoot ourselves in the feet here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, and then MM is to increase sales taxes for school meals and food assistance programs.
You
Uh,
know, I have to talk about that one because they regularly bring up the schools and your heart goes out to the schools and they know that that's where people are concerned what's happening for their kids. I do notice that the kids schools quality has been going downhill, and my big upset is that we keep voting on so many things for the schools, but where I see it go is to administration. I don't see it go to the teachers. My heart goes to the teachers who are influencing the kids. That's where I'd like to see the money go. And I don't know what's happened to the kids' meals. Maybe you can shed some light on that. Come on, Diane, help us out.
You know, when my kids were in school, if you had free or reduced lunch, that was a bit of a stigma. But if it's free lunch for everyone and some kids still bring their own lunch, then it becomes a little bit elitist. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
still puts that stigma out there. And I know my kids sometimes if they didn't like what was packed in their lunch, they would take a lunch, a school lunch. And then of course I would always ended up paying for it and said, now why don't you like this lunch? You know?
yeah,
Because I always felt like it was good to learn to pack your lunch and to, take care of yourself.
yeah,
And then sometimes the kids didn't like either. They didn't like what the school had to offer and they didn't like what was
yeah,
packed. So, you know, um, at some point you have to teach kids accountability and self-sufficiency. And I think we do far too much um, that intercepts that idea. You
yeah,
know, yeah, I think kids have to be a little bit more responsible growing up, and these are very simple ways to be responsible and very simple ways to take care of oneself that
yeah.
become important when you become a working person.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. Well, we
So
covered a
and
lot of,
philosophically against it, I guess, but people make their own decisions.
yeah,
That's just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. That's true. And hopefully all the money does go toward the schools. I don't know the budget. I'm not very good in that department. So
Yeah. And this is anticipated to make 95 million annually.
really, wow.
Yeah. I just,
Hmm,
yeah.
interesting. Well, Diane, we've run out of time. I'll let you take the last couple seconds, minutes, and and wrap all this up and give a plug for yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have, check out my website, www.dianecrist.com. I have a lot of speaking engagements coming up, including at the Rotary and League of Women Voters and SOSAs. And I think I'm missing one. The Longmont area Democrats. So we'll be having forums there. And
Nice.
so the times will be listed on my website. So appreciate you listening to my musings. Briefly.
I absolutely enjoy it, and I'm glad I got to pick on you today.
Yeah, yeah. There's always a lot of moving targets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
handled it very well, and I wanted people to see that what you go through, you and your family. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate that you get out there and do this. It's a very difficult job, in my opinion. I can just throw out
we have a
questions.
lot of great candidates, and we have
Yeah,
potentially four seats, so the council could change quite a bit. So it's good to get out and get informed and hear what people are saying. Um, I think a good council is one that has seven heads. I mean, that is seven points of view that are useful.
yeah,
That we represent all facets of our community, so that we can
right,
make a good decision.
right. And have lots of arguments the way they did for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
And that's happening more. We had a good rousing discussion about the right-of-way ordinance, which was the sit or lie in
Oh,
commercial areas. Yeah. And I was very encouraged by that because it was 3-4 and 4-3. We couldn't decide on particular points. And I was very happy to see that we were wanting to include everyone's concerns. And
love it.
yeah, yeah, it was very useful. So I
Well,
hope it's more of that.
Longmont may just be the spearhead for what goes on in the country. So wouldn't that be fun?
We aspire to that every Tuesday. So, and beyond. So we'll see
State
how it goes.
council meetings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Diane. And I'll see you next Wednesday, same time, same place.
Okay, so appreciate you doing this, Ginny. It's a lot of fun speaking
I
with
learn
you.
a lot too, and I hope others enjoy it and listen and learn as well.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, next week.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.